So students, today we are going to discuss about the peninsular rivers of our country from chapter number 3, drainage. And as we all know that the rivers of our country can broadly be classified into two different categories, that is the Himalayan rivers and the peninsular rivers. We have already discussed about the major Himalayan rivers, that is the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra. So today we are just going to discuss about the peninsular rivers. So we all know some characteristic features of the peninsular rivers. The peninsular rivers are seasonal in nature. Okay, they are seasonal in nature and they does not have a continuous flow of water. Okay, because they are dependent on rainfall for their water supply. As well as the peninsular rivers, they have a shorter course, and the peninsular rivers, okay, they basically originate from the peninsular plateau region. So these peninsular rivers can again be further classified into two broad categories. The peninsular rivers of our country can broadly be classified into two different categories, that is the east flowing and the west flowing peninsular rivers. See, the Western Ghat, okay, as we all know that the Western Ghat, it marks the westernmost border of the peninsular plateau region. So this Western Ghat, okay, it just acts like a water divide. Okay, it acts like a water divide which separates the peninsular rivers into two types. Okay, means like the peninsular rivers, some of the peninsular rivers, they flow towards the west, drain their water in the Arabian Sea, and some of the peninsular rivers, they flow towards the east and they drain their water in the Bay of Bengal. Okay, just because of this Western Ghat actually. Okay, so some of the major peninsular rivers are the Narmada, the Tapi, the Godavari, the Mahanadi, the Krishna and the Kaveri. Okay, these are the major peninsular rivers. But out of these six major peninsular rivers, the two rivers, that is the Narmada and the Tapi, they are the west flowing peninsular rivers. Okay, they drain their water in the Arabian Sea. They flow towards the west and they drain their water in the Arabian Sea. Whereas the Godavari, the Mahanadi, the Krishna and the Kaveri, okay, they are the other large peninsular rivers which drain their water in the Bay of Bengal. That means they are the east flowing peninsular rivers. So we have already discussed about the Narmada and the Tapi river. Okay, like we came to know about the Narmada river, its origin and all. But for your recapitulation, okay, I'm just revising it once again about the Narmada and the Tapi. See, the Narmada and the Tapi, these are the two rivers, okay, which originate from the state of Madhya Pradesh. Okay, they originate from the state of Madhya Pradesh. The Narmada river, it originates from the Amarkantak hills, and the Tapi river, it originates from the Betul district of Madhya Pradesh. Both these rivers, they flow parallel to each other. The Tapi river is much shorter in length than the Narmada river. Okay, and both these rivers, the Narmada and the Tapi, they flow through the Rift Valley, okay, which has been formed in these Satpura ranges and all. The Narmada river, it forms some picturesque location, beautiful locations such as the Marble Rocks Fall in Jabalpur and the Dhuandar waterfall. Okay, these are the two notable waterfalls which has been formed by the river Narmada. Okay. And in order to conserve the water of the river Narmada, the government of Madhya Pradesh has launched a scheme, and the name of the scheme is the Namami Devi Narmade. Okay. And this Narmada river is mainly joined by many tributaries, many short rivers, okay, tributaries. And these tributaries, they join the river Narmada at right angle. The drainage basin of the river Narmada can be found in the state of Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. Okay. Whereas the Tapi river, okay, which is shorter in length than the Narmada river, okay, its drainage basin can be found in the state of Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat as well as in Maharashtra. Okay. Apart from this Narmada and the Tapi, there are also some other small streams such as the Sabarmati, Mahi, the Bharat Puja and the Periyar, okay, which are the west flowing rivers. That means they originate from the western part of the Western Ghat, they flow through the western coastal plain and ultimately they drain their water in the Arabian Sea. Okay. So this is what about the west flowing peninsular rivers. Now see, now the east flowing peninsular rivers basically include the Godavari river, the Mahanadi, the Krishna and the Kaveri. That means we can say that the major peninsular rivers, the large peninsular rivers, are the east flowing rivers. Okay, most of the large peninsular rivers are east flowing. They drain their water in the Bay of Bengal. And the largest peninsular river is the Godavari river. The Godavari river is the largest peninsular river. Okay, it has a total length of 1500 kilometers. The total length of the river Godavari is 1500 kilometers, and it drains its water in the Bay of Bengal. So as it drains its water in the Bay of Bengal, that means it is a east flowing river. From where does the river Godavari originates? The river Godavari, it has its origin in the Western Ghat. Okay, it rises from the slopes of the Western Ghat in the Nasik district of Maharashtra. So the river Godavari, it originates from the Nasik district of Maharashtra. Okay, and it drains its water in the Bay of Bengal. So you can see here that Maharashtra is the state which is located, okay, in the coastal areas of the Arabian Sea. Okay, but though it rises in the coast in the state of Maharashtra, but it drains its water in the Bay of Bengal. Okay, why it does not drain its water in the Arabian Sea, though the Arabian Sea is very near to it actually? Because the general slope of the land, okay, from where the river Narmada originates is towards the east, and that is why the river, it flows towards the east and it drains its water in the Bay of Bengal. Okay. The river Godavari is the largest river, as I said you. So being the largest river, it is also having the largest drainage basin. Okay, it is also having the largest drainage basin among all the peninsular rivers. Around 50% of the drainage basin of the river Godavari, it lies in Maharashtra, and the rest 50% of its drainage basin can be found in the state of Madhya Pradesh, in the state of Odisha, as well as in the state of Andhra Pradesh. The river Godavari, it has a total length of 1500 km, as I said you. So in its total course, it is joined by many number of tributaries. Many number of tributaries joins the river Godavari. But of all the tributaries, the 6 are the major important tributaries of the river Godavari. That is the Purna, the Wardha, the Pranhita, the Manjra, the Wainganga, and the Penganga. These are the 6 major tributaries of the river Godavari, important tributaries of the river Godavari. Okay, and out of these 6, the last 3, that is the Manjra river, the Wainganga, and the Penganga, these are the largest tributaries. Okay, these tributaries of river Godavari are very large. And the most important thing you should know about the river Godavari is that the river Godavari is also known as Dakshin Ganga, or the Ganga of the South. Do you know why it is known as Dakshin Ganga or Ganga of the South? Because of its length and its drainage basin. The river Godavari is the longest river of the Peninsular Plateau region, and it has the largest drainage basin among all the peninsular rivers. So this is why it is also referred to as the Dakshin Ganga or the Ganga of the South. So you can see here that the Godavari river is the most important river of the Peninsular Plateau of our country. See, after Godavari, the next important river is the Mahanadi river. The Mahanadi river is another important river which originates from the highlands of Chhattisgarh. The river Mahanadi, it has its origin in the state of Chhattisgarh, and it, after flowing for few kilometers in the state of Chhattisgarh, it enters Odisha, and it flows for a very long distance in Odisha before draining its water in the Bay of Bengal. The river Mahanadi is well known for its delta. The river Mahanadi has led to the formation of a delta at its mouth, okay, in the coastal areas in the Bay of Bengal. It has a total length of 860 kilometers, and it has the drainage basin of the river Mahanadi can be found in the state of Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Odisha. Okay. So these are the states where the drainage basin of the river Mahanadi can be found. And the most important thing about the river Mahanadi is that in the Mahanadi river basin, the largest saltwater lake of our country has been formed. That is the Lake Chilika. The Lake Chilika in the state of Odisha is the largest saltwater lake, okay, which has been formed in the basin of this Mahanadi river. and you can say that the Mahanadi is the most important river of the of Odisha, of the state of Odisha actually. Okay, many people, they earn their livelihood from this Mahanadi river. Okay, from fishing and all. See. So these were the two main rivers, that is the Godavari and the Mahanadi. These were the two main rivers of the Peninsular Plateau region. But apart from this, the Krishna and the Kaveri are also the other notable rivers of the Peninsular Plateau of our country. Okay, the Krishna and the Kaveri, they are also the east flowing river. Okay, they drain their water in the Bay of Bengal. The Krishna river, it originates from the Mahabaleshwar hills. Okay, it has a total length of 1400 km and it discharges its water in the Bay of Bengal. Some of the important tributaries of the river Krishna are the Tungabhadra, the Koyna, the Ghatprabha, the Musi and the Bhima. These are the important tributaries of the Krishna river. Okay, and it has its drainage basin in the state of Maharashtra, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. In the Koyna river, a dam has been constructed, the Koyna dam, as well as on the river Tungabhadra also a dam has been constructed. Okay, the Tungabhadra dam. So the like the dams which has been constructed on this Koyna and the Tungabhadra, okay, they help in irrigation and electricity generations. Apart from the Krishna, the Kaveri is another important river of the Peninsular Plateau region. It rises from the Brahmagiri range of the Western Ghat and reaches the Bay of Bengal in the south of Kudalur in Tamil Nadu. Kudalur is the name of the place where the river, okay, just near to this Kudalur, the Kaveri river, it drains its water in the Bay of Bengal. It has a total length of 760 km and it is mainly joined by the Amravati river, the Bhavani, the Hemavati and the Kavini river. Okay, and the drainage basin of the Kaveri river can be found in the state of Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. See, the Kaveri river is also known for its waterfall. It has led to the formation of a waterfall. Okay, and the second biggest waterfall of our country, and it is known as the Siva Samundram fall. Okay, the Siva Samundram waterfall is the second largest waterfall of our country, which has been formed by the river Kaveri. The hydroelectric power which is generated from the falls is supplied to Mysuru, Bangalore and the Kolar goldfields. From the Kaveri, from this Kaveri river actually, okay, the hydroelectricity is being generated, and the hydroelectricity which is generated is mainly supplied, okay, to the city of Bangalore, the Kolar goldfields and the Mysuru. Okay. So these are the major rivers actually. Okay, these are the four major rivers of the Peninsular Plateau region. But apart from these four rivers, there are also other important east flowing peninsular rivers. Okay, some of the small rivers are there which originate from the Peninsular Plateau and they drain their water in the Bay of Bengal. Okay, some of them they drain their water in the Bay of Bengal and some of them they join the river Ganga, such as the Damodar, the Brahmani, the Baitarani and the Subarna Rekha. These are the other examples of the east flowing peninsular river. The Damodar river is one of the most important river of West Bengal. Okay, every year the Damodar river, it causes huge flood in the state of West Bengal, and that is why the river Damodar is also known as the sorrow of Bengal. Okay, like the Kosi river, okay, which is a Himalayan river, is known as the sorrow of Bihar, as because it causes huge flood and devastation every year. In the same way, the Damodar, which is a peninsular river, okay, it causes widespread destruction, loss of life and property during the rainy season, okay, in some of the districts of West Bengal. So this is why the river Damodar is known as the sorrow of Bengal. Okay. So in your book also you can see this map. Okay, from this map you can see the different rivers, okay, the places from where they originate, and they flow in different directions. Okay, so most of the rivers of our country, okay, they drain their water in the Bay of Bengal, and only few of them they drain its water in the Arabian Sea. Around 77% of the water of our country, okay, which flows through the rivers, actually it is being drained in the Bay of Bengal, and around 23% of the water is being drained into the Arabian Sea. Okay. And not only these rivers, but also we can find the presence of some lakes okay, in the coastal areas of our country, like the Chilika Lake, the Pulikat Lake, the Kolelu Lake, the Vembanan lakes and all. Okay, so in our next topic we are going to discuss about the lakes, okay, the important lakes of our country and their importance in the Indian economy.